way property rights work in general in the world? Like someone owns something, so like is it owned by the municipal government or is it owned by Room 3?
It's owned by the community. So it might be owned by, like, consider it like a co-op. And when you're talking about the middle of the jungle in Cambodia, like, the property rights are a little different there. I'm not quite sure what the minutiae are. I could probably find out for you.
And then what about the curriculum? Is it also the local countries kind of set the curriculum?
That's a very good question. So this curriculum is all primary school based. So this is all like ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, and the books are written by the local community. So it's no one bringing an ideological worldview into that education system. All of the ideology that's put into the books is all put into the books by that community. And we're talking primary grade school here, so basic stuff. Once you get to the higher levels, like, well, who knows what they're putting in there, but that's not necessarily our place to do so. That's up to them.
So the scholarships would send the girls through all the education would be at other schools, not Room to Read schools, but sort of continuing in other middle and secondary schools.
Sure. It could be at schools that Room to Read. It might be partly at another school after they get beyond their primary school. So it's kind of a combination that might provide their scholarship to a school at Room to Read and a school somewhere else, or maybe all schools at Room to Read. Yeah. So it's not strictly just schools that are built by this organization. James, I think you had one earlier.
I did. It was around why spend so much money and resources developing children's literature? Wouldn't that already be out there somewhere in the market?
Well, not in Akhat or Thai or all of the different languages in Cambodia. Very little. There's a lot of English stuff. There's a lot of French stuff. So that stuff exists. And a lot of those books, like a lot of times that this money goes toward surplus books and inexpensive English books. But there are very few children's books written in the native language of Cambodia. Not very many.
And then so do they translate existing children's books, or do they have locals write and create new books?
So the $10,000 figure is a book that's created locally, so that's a brand new book coming out of nowhere. For translation costs, I'm not sure if the money goes strictly toward translation projects. Well, something like that might exist, but I don't really know. Most of the books they do have a lot of donated books, and then once some books are produced, there are various other organizations that Room 3 works with to get books very cheaply, for like, the target price is like $1 a book. But I'm not aware of whatever translation projects there might be. Did that answer your question? Yeah?
Does Room to Read work with any other literacy programs?
They do. I don't know all the names of the programs that they work with, but they are not isolated. They work with a lot of other groups. I know there's one called, I'll say Scholastic, and I think they create inexpensive children's books. I know that's one that they work with. And there are certainly others, but I don't know the details of that. So that kind of brings up another point I'd like to say, is that I don't work for Room to Read. I don't represent them in any way. So there's a lot of stuff I don't know about the org. But what I am here for is kind of like a voice for our community and say, like, this is something that a vision I would like us to create. And then Room to Read is the organization through which I think that vision can be created. If you want specific details to some of the questions I don't know, I can get that data for you.
So you guys will go there and help the community build their own school?
In fact, you have very little inference from Room to Read. I'm not going to go somewhere and start building a school. And this is actually really important because I brought this up a lot of times. I have a lot of people say, like, wow, this sounds like a great project. I'd love to go to Nepal for 2 weeks and help build a school because I think that would be fun. But they highly discourage that because then it takes away the sense of ownership from the school. So they want the community to do all of the work. The only thing that Room to Read provides are some materials, logistical support, government contacts, and things like that, and the ability to support away where you can build it and that sort of thing. But they leave as much work as possible up to the community itself, so that the community is empowered to build a school. The community feels that they have ownership of it, and it's their school and not something that was gifted to them.
But you can actually go see, sorry for interrupting, you can actually go see it once it's on its opening day?
We have a signing ceremony. So once the school opens, anyone who donated to that school can actually go there on that day, and then you'll see the school.
That's pretty cool.
And they are aware that they are getting outside help, that someone is, making a school possible for them, but they're doing all the hard work for it. So That way it gives them the ownership, which also makes the school far more likely to succeed because they're the ones who built it instead of someone else who just came in and taught this thing here. And I expect people to go use it because they have this altruistic vision of the world that they want.
Yeah, that's what I misunderstood in your image is that you're not imposing your values on them. It's not like we're a church or
Yeah.
anything. You have to convert before you can come to a school
Yeah.
or something like that. Like,
So yeah, that's the one reason why I particularly like this org is that they don't do any of that. They identify communities based on a need and a desire and say, oh look, this is a community that wants a school and they're willing to build it themselves. We'll push them over the edge and help them build the school that they want for themselves. So they don't bring any worldview into it. It's just, hey, we'll help you build a school a little bit. And then the community goes and does it. These are all great questions. Thank you. That's awesome. Any more? Or do we want to get to books?
Well, actually, I think I have another question.
Yeah.
Maybe give us a little background as to why this is your interest. Why
Okay.
did you choose this? Where did it come from?
Well, that's a very good question. Well, I think this came out of a couple of different things. At my work, they have an annual event called like the Giving Campaign. And they say, give to various charitable organizations that you feel like you want to give to. And in the past, I've always done that. I've always written a check or something like that, and to the ones that fancy me based on their descriptions on the website. But this year, I decided I wanted to take on a challenge and do something that was a little harder, something I didn't necessarily know I could do. And I wanted to try and enroll my community and get more people into a project instead of just myself, because there's a lot more power in community than there is in myself writing a single check. So if I can get my community excited about something, then I can have a greater impact. So a lot of it was really kind of, a personal challenge to myself, and also to be passionate about something that, inspired me. And actually, the reason that I found out about Room to Read is a book that I read called Leaving Microsoft to Change the World. It was written by John Wood, and I was really inspired by that book, who was actually thinking about my sister, another very inspirational person in my life. And so after reading that, and it happened right around the same time as the Giving Campaign, I decided to take that on and decide, okay, let's go see if I can do something that I don't know that I can do. And even not necessarily me, I'm not doing it, the community is going to be doing it. So that's why I'm up here. Did that answer your question?
Absolutely.
Okay, well let's check out books and fill out donation forms.